Welcome back to episode 157 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Winter meetings are underway. It began last night in Orlando, Florida. I wish we could have been there, but after a lot of reports that have come out, it seems like we're not the only ones that got snubbed of a credential. So um, it's all good. We'll still cover it from our locations. Um, and hopefully this can be the start of getting the ball rolling here with some of these big free agents because it is December 8th. Christmas is a couple weeks away, and there are still plenty of free agents out there that are looking for a new home. But um, we'll touch upon all of it. We have topics that we want to discuss today. We have Jeff Kent. We got a couple signings. Devin Williams. How about to the Mets? Um, Cedric Mullins to the Rays. We got a Schwarber to the Pirates. A rumor going around, and then the Dodgers. Little rumblings with them, which is good. I'm glad my team is back in the headlines here for a second. Don't forget about your defending back-to-back world champions. God damn it! Don't forget about us. Just because this is. Let me just say this right now. This is a bad thing, by the way, when you're not hearing the Dodgers in the headlines for off-season trades or signings. That's a bad thing because Andrew Freeman, Brandon Gomes, they do a great job of keeping everything in house. So the rest of the league should be worried because you don't know. I don't even know what the Dodgers are potentially trying to cook this off season. So there's your little warning as we head into the winter meetings here. But before we get into all that, Kyle, how are you doing today? As always.
Yeah, man, you kind of touched on the Dodgers being back in the rotation that we have going on. Yeah, no, I always try my best to find the best topics to talk about on the podcast. And as soon as I was writing down the Dodgers, I was like, damn, we got the Dodgers
Fucking
back in the
right, we do.
rotation. So I had a feeling you'd mention that, but yeah, man, I'm doing good. Winter meetings is here. That's always a good thing. That means this off season's moving, quicker and quicker as we go. We're reaching milestones finally, right? So we have the winter meetings next up. We have the Rule 5 draft in a couple of days. The Hall of Fame announcement just came through. Jeff Kent, we'll talk about that. But yeah, no, it means the off season's going along, and that's huge. We talked about this before, and I kind of mentioned to you before we started recording. Winter meetings is here, but to me, it doesn't feel like it, right? Um, Usually you hear rumblings from the very first night of these big name guys, Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, Framber Valdez, just to name a few. Yeah, it's been kind of quiet. So I'm very interested to see. Usually we can link some of these players to potential homes, but it's been extremely hard to do that this year. The biggest free agent, Kyle Tucker, it seems like the Blue Jays are the big one, right? You've heard the Dodgers, you've heard the Mets, but there's no substantial evidence of where this guy's going to go. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the next few days. But I'm here for it. I'm excited. I've had winter meetings on MLB Network. I've had it on, basically ever since it started last night. Um, but yeah, no, just to kind of full circle here. Yeah, no, it's hopefully this starts picking up a little bit more, and we hear some rumblings. But yeah, no, other than that, man, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Um, Kind of weather's starting to get a little warm out here in Southern California. I'm not big on that. It's December 8th. It's supposed to feel like winter. You know, Now I was complaining a week ago when I was freezing my ass off in my room. And with the under the blanket and everything. But um, starting to warm up a little bit. But I'm doing well. Like you just mentioned, winter meetings are underway. I like that. We'll have the main Hall of Fame announcement in January. So I know Jeff Kent was the first one, but that's like a different kind of voters committee. But the main one is next in January next month, so it'll be here before you know it. But yeah, you mentioned it. Another milestone we reached the winter meetings. I agree with you. Like it almost feels like they're not making a big deal of the winter meetings this year. Like
Yeah,
other years, it was like, oh, we'll be at the winter meetings. Oh, make sure you tune in and see our coverage. Now it's just like, all right, hey, it's the second week of December. We're at the winter meetings. Great.
yeah,
Oh well.
and also too. I mean, you kind of mentioned it, and real quick before I forget, Mello, would you rather it be like this where you're at?
No.
Because I'll tell you one thing, man. That's a joke. I hate this
I'm
shit.
I'm completely okay with 78 and sunny outside, and with a little bit of wind, and it is going to get a little warmer um, as we get into later in this week. But to answer your question, yeah, I'm fine. I get if I had to pick, I'm completely fine with how it's going right
Yeah, no, that I went out my front door this morning. I got fucking bit. I got
now.
bit by that wind. I'll tell you that. But yeah, man, you kind of mentioned it about the winter meetings. I mean, we obviously, I mean, we're not the only ones who got denied for the credentials and things like that. And but you're not seeing a whole lot of people tuning in from, obviously you have your big ones. You have John Boy Media, you have Jeff Passan, you got your big time reporters and things. But other than that, man, it's just been like you really haven't heard much. I mean, Bob Nightingale's there, things like that. But
Is he? I don't
I
know.
I, I
He's been
believe he
fucking
is.
up some of these stories the last couple of days.
Dude, I know. It's one tweet about like, he had it in all caps. He's like,
Zach
if
Gallen.
and hope, yeah, with the Cubs and but yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. It's just been it's kind of sad because the winter meetings is something that over the last couple of years it has been nuts. The winter meetings every single year. We had the whole debacle with John Heyman and Aaron Judge and things like that. But and then obviously Otani's situation when he was a free agent and things. But yeah, man, it's just it really feels like it's not as big of an event, and I don't like that, man. I want to hear all the rumblings. I want to hear the crazy ass trade scenarios and the big time free agents linked to basically every team. And you know we had JP Morosi with Otani, things like that. We haven't heard much, so I'm hoping that changes in the next 2 days. So
Yeah, and it doesn't even seem like usually I think Judge was at the winter meetings in San Diego. I think a
yes.
couple years ago. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong. I think wasn't I think Soto was at the meetings last year too. I could be wrong on that, but
um
usually like the top free agent or one of the tops is usually there, kind of like just not making himself available, but just like, hey, he's here,
yeah.
talking to different teams and stuff. This year, I haven't heard anything about Schwarber being there. I know Tucker was at the facility with the Blue Jays last week. That was the story that came out, but I don't think there hasn't really been any of the top free agents are even in Orlando. I don't think.
No, I mean you really haven't heard much, and I mean I'll touch on Judges just because I was attached to my phone when Judge was a free agent, but he went down to San Diego to meet with the Padres for that massive deal that they
What a
offered him.
joke.
Yeah, and then you hear that he was on a flight out to Hawaii for his honeymoon, I believe it was. And then at the very last second before he got on the flight, he signed the deal with the Yankees, and then he went off to Hawaii. But he was out there. He was at the winter meetings. Last year, I want to say Soto. I mean, from the look of where he was when the news broke, I think
Well,
he
he
might
was in
have
the
been on.
DR.
Yeah, he was on vacation, but yeah, I mean, you never know. These guys hop on flights left and right. He could have been in the winter meetings last year. Just a couple hours before he was in the DR. But yeah, no, it's just like it feels like it's totally different this year, and it kind of sucks a little bit. It's not what I was really expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll finish my little monologue here with this, and then we'll start getting into topics real quick. So, of course, I've been getting more stuff from the World Series. I finally got the rest of the Game 7 cards here. So
Oh,
I got Will Smith home run go ahead Game 7. I like that. I got the final out Yamamoto. That was cool. I got World Series MVP Yamamoto. I like that one. I got this one with the team all together at the end,
there we go.
which is cool because I have some of that confetti in the bag right here. So that's kind of cool. I got Mookie Betts, 4-time world champion, the only active player with 4 rings. And this one got me emotional, man. Clayton Kershaw, baby. Oh, that got me excited. His potentially his final baseball card of his career. And I also want to shout. I want to shout this out too on Instagram. So there's this. I was at a swap meet a couple weeks ago. This was like right after the Dodgers won. Um, my mom wanted to get out just to do something. So like, oh, let's go to the swap meet. So we went to the swap meet. We were walking around. I'm very picky. I don't know if Kyle's realized that yet, but I'm very picky when it comes to like clothes and stuff.
Hmm.
I'm looking for something specific, and if it's something that I don't like, I won't get it. However, I found this little small business place that had these cool T-shirts, and I just want to shout it out. Game Vibes. It's just like a baby blue shirt, but it has. I'm trying to get the logo in here. It has the D. It has the D right here.
There we
It
go.
has it has the City Connect um logo.
That's a
Okay.
comfort colors too. Those things are
This
comfortable.
is very comfy. So I've had it for a couple weeks, but I've been meaning to mention it. So shout out Game Vibes. I met the girl Michelle. She's very nice. Was able to hook it up. She actually had to special make. She had to actually special make this one. I'm not gonna say why, but we all know why. But so shout out to her. Game Vibes. I love it. And I've said it before, but you know how I feel about that D. You already
Oh,
know how I feel about it.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah, I want when I saw that D, I'm like, I gotta have it.
gotta
Gotta
have it.
have it. Gotta have it with me, man. I need the D in me. So, um, yeah. So I saw it. I was like, I have to buy it, and sure enough, and that's very comfortable. So,
Oh yeah,
shout out to Game Vibes. I just gave them a good promo. So all they have to do is show the part where I said I need that D. So,
oh yeah,
um,
absolutely.
yeah. So, all right, getting into the topics here. Um, we'll start off here just because this is the most recent news. Congratulations to the newest member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Jeff Kent. Finally, he is inducted into Cooperstown, man. I was watching it yesterday, kind of going back and forth with my Packers and Bears because the game was like when the announcement was made like around 4:30. They said on MLB Network the announcement was going to be made at 4:30. The Packer game was not over yet. It was like right at the end. I'm like, shit, I gotta go back and forth here. I'm trying to watch my Packers close this thing out against the Bears, but then I'm waiting for this announcement. So I was able to flip it. I think the Packer game was in a commercial break anyway, so I flipped it over. They were announcing it, and when he said there was only one new inductee, I thought it was Don Mattingly
Yeah,
because the rumors leading up to it, like, oh, this might be Don Mattingly's time. He's paid his due. This is gonna happen. Um, but once he started reading off the teams, and when he said Dodgers at the end, I was like, no shit, Jeff Kent is finally getting in. So I'm very happy for Jeff Kent. For those of you that don't know, and I know, people are gonna be like, oh, here we go, typical Dodger fan again. But you guys got to understand something. I think I've mentioned this to Kyle before, but I think I've mentioned this on here too. I have a soft spot for those mid to late 2000s Dodger teams because I was a young kid. I was like young, not even a kid. I was like a little boy. Like I was like 4 or 5 years old. And when I really started to learn what baseball was and what the Dodgers were, those group of players, Jeff Kent, Manny Ramirez, James Loney, Casey Blake, Chad Billingsley, Rafael Furcal, guys like that, those were like my first favorite group of Dodger players. And I didn't know the history of Jeff Kent. I didn't know at the time that um, Jeff Kent, was a Giant and played all those years for the Giants. I didn't know that. He was on my team and he was pretty good. It's not like I know he finished his last couple years with the Dodgers, but he still had like 2 or 3 good years with the solid years with the Dodgers. So I have a soft spot for those guys because that was my first group of favorite Dodger players and teams, and I wanted those especially 2008 and 2009. That was the years they both lost to the Phillies in the championship series. I wanted that group to win the World Series so bad because they were a fun group of guys to watch, and like I said. My first favorite group of Dodger players, Russell Martin in there too, a rookie Clayton Kershaw in there. So, very excited. Jonathan Broxton, the closer, Jesus man, guys like that. So I'm super happy for Jeff Kent. I know he's not gonna be a Dodger. I'm not stupid. He's gonna go in as a Giant. If not, he's gonna wear no cap. But It sounded like with the interview he gave yesterday on MLB Network, it sounds like he's going to go in there as a Giant. So, um, super happy for him. It sucks that he could not get the vote when it was up to the writers. And I saw it yesterday. He didn't even get over 50% in any of the 10 years he was on the ballot, which is a joke, which is a joke to me. But I'm so glad they got it right. Congratulations to Jeff Kent. And I'm telling everybody right now, if I can find one, I will wear it Hall of Fame weekend next summer. If I can find a Dodgers Jeff Kent jersey, a number 12, I'm wearing it next summer at Cooperstown. I don't give a shit. I know there's gonna be a shit ton of Giants fans, in their Jeff Kent jerseys and their signs and stuff, which is that's fine. That's your guy, that's your weekend. But you gotta understand, my first favorite group of Dodger players, and I have a quick story too, and then Kyle can give his thoughts. So obviously, I was like around 4 or 5 years old. I just started school when those times were going around. Of course, what are you doing in kindergarten? You're learning your numbers, you're learning your ABCs. I struggled with my numbers. Some
Mhm.
say I still do now, including my mother. Um, but my mom always told me there was one number you knew because of Jeff Kent, number 12. That's it. You couldn't get any of the numbers right. But when they said 12, oh, that's Jeff Kent from the Dodgers. So there's a little story for you. So again, I have a soft spot for these guys. Congratulations to Jeff Kent. Finally, he will have his day in Cooperstown next summer, and that makes me very happy.
It's a very heartwarming story, Mela. I actually,
Thank you.
I love that story. But
Thank you.
yeah, no, Jeff Kent. I mean, we've talked about Jeff Kent on this podcast plenty of times, right?
For years.
It's yeah, it's no secret that when we talk about the Hall of Fame, and whether you agree with some of the writers or you don't, Jeff Kent was always one of those guys that I believe should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's regarded as one of the greatest second basemen of all time. I mean, this guy, he truly is. I mean, I have his baseball reference up right now, right? So if I can, okay. Cool. If I can get Riverside to work properly, thank you. Okay. So this guy, I mean, his career slash line speaks for itself. I mean, he played 17 years in the league with a 290 batting average, 356 OPP, 500 slugging, and an 855 OPS. This guy, I mean, it's off the charts. He's just shy of 2,500 hits. Um, he compiled a 55.4 WAR, which I know for the writers is a little low, but when you look at the meat and potatoes of his baseball reference, dude, he deserves to be in Cooperstown. Um, I
MVP
mean,
in 2000.
yes, MVP in 2000. Trying to see if there's anything
Beat
else
out
that I,
Bonds in his prime, by the way. I don't think
yeah,
that gets talked enough either.
dude,
With sharing the lineup with Barry Bonds and beating him out in his prime for an MVP,
yes.
that's not nothing.
No, it's definitely not. He had 377 career home runs, and this guy was. I mean, Ken was a little. He was a little late to the game. When you look at his baseball reference, he didn't start like truly becoming an elite hitter until he came to San Francisco. Honestly, 1997. Um, he had a stretch from 1997 all the way to 2005, which was his first year with the Dodgers. This guy was ballistic, man. I mean, I'm looking at some of his batting averages. Just my God, 297, 290, 334, 298, 313, 297, 289, 289. Dude, in his second to last year with the Dodgers in 2007, he batted 302. I mean, there's nothing more that you can really say about this guy. I mean, he's multiple time All Star, multiple time Silver Sluggers. Multiple MVP finishes. Like you mentioned, he won MVP in 2000. Yeah, I mean he's a see, yeah, MVP, four-time Silver Slugger, and five-time All Star. Yeah, and I mean this guy. Obviously, I wasn't too familiar with Jeff Kent's game, but I recognize a good player when I see one, and I do vaguely remember Jeff Kent. watching him play. But I mean, honestly, man, he this was very deserving. I personally wanted Jeff Kent and my guy Don Mattingly to get in. I hope and pray that Don Mattingly gets in soon, man. But for 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 the sake of this conversation, Jeff Kent gets in, and it's definitely warranted. It's about time that it's happened. Um, yeah, I mean, there's nothing more that I can really say about Jeff Kent. He's one of the greatest second basemen of all time, and well deserved. It's about time we give him his flowers. And I also will say, um, Jeff Kent is 57 years old, so he has more than enough time to enjoy his time
Yep.
in Cooperstown. And I'm glad. I am so glad they got that right. I hate when these players get voted in after they have passed or after they can enjoy it because of them being so much older. um, Jeff Kent, though, I mean, he's 57. He played a long career, and he's still in good health from what we know. So I am extremely glad that Jeff Kent gets to enjoy this and be enjoy this with his family and for years to come. I mean, I hope it. Jeff Kent kind of reminds me of one of those guys that we might see up there every year, which
Yeah.
I hope
Oh
and
yeah.
pray is
I
the
hope so.
yeah, I hope so, man. Like, he'll be one that we know will come down the parade every single year, because he, definitely deserves it. So, congrats to Jeff Kent. It's well deserved. It's about time they got this one right, and yeah, I'm very excited to see him get inducted next Hall of Fame weekend.
Absolutely. And two quick things here that we'll move on from this. Number one, um, his 377 career home runs he hit, most ever by a second baseman. The 1,518 RBIs he hit for, most ever by a second baseman. And his OPS of 855, that's on base plus slug, highest ever by a second baseman. Like
That's why
why did this take so long?
that's why
Why
he's
did this
regarded
take
as
so
one of
long,
the
and why did he get so low of the vote? I'll
absolutely.
never understand that, but again, I can't I'm not complaining about it anymore because he's finally in. So it just makes no sense to me. Number two, you want to talk about you want to who has had a more crappier 7 weeks than Don Mattingly.
Yeah.
So he gets to the World Series for the first time ever as a player, as a manager, as a coach, first time ever with the Blue Jays. And then they have a crushing game 6 and 7 loss. And the Blue Jays are 2 outs away from winning the World Series, breaking a 32-year drought, and Don Mattingly finally winning the World Series. And then 2 weeks later, has to present the MVP award to Shohei Ohtani in the National League. Um, and then fast forward to yesterday, gets oh so close to getting the number of votes he needed. I don't remember the final tally, but he was
He
on
had
the
6,
doorstep.
needed
I think he
12.
needed yeah, needed
Yeah.
12. So he got half of the vote needed, and he got snubbed again out of a Hall of Fame vote. Who has had more of a crappier 6 or 7 weeks than Don Mattingly? Holy shit, man!
It's
And
tough,
and
man.
and and, and, and Don Mattingly, I know he loves baseball. He's not with the Blue Jays anymore, but he's gonna be on a team next year. Like,
Hmm.
even as his sport continues to kick him in the balls every time left and right, he still loves the game, and he's still gonna be somewhere in spring training next season. Which, man, that I God bless him, man. That's hard to do. I would be, I would walk away at that point. But
I I I've been vocal about this personally. With him being free as a coach, Yankees bring him home, man. I mean, give him a chance as a coach. I mean, honestly, like I would absolutely love to see Don Mattingly. Personally, I'd like to see him in the manager role. Give him another shot as a manager because I think since the last time he managed with the Marlins, I think he's grown a lot, into the game more than he already has. I mean, He's a legend of the game. Yankees, bring him home, man. Give him some kind of role. I would love to see him as a manager, but I don't see that happening. So honestly, I'd love to see him as a coach, but yeah, no. Just to double down on what you said, he will definitely end up with the team. He's extremely valuable as a coach or as advisor, whatever he ends up being. I just hope that this sport gives him his flowers after he's done his time because Lord has he done it. And well, like I said, man, I was really rooting for him to get the call. Um, hopefully next time it's Donnie's time. Hopefully, but we'll see where it goes. But yeah, no. Just to end this up, congrats to Jeff Kent. It was more than deserved, and it's about damn time.
In the next 2 years, there's gonna, and I saw the tweet from Nightingale last night, and I'll take it with a grain of salt. So, it's Bob Nightingale, but I think he's right on this one. There is a Giants renaissance coming to Cooperstown in the next 2 years,
There is.
and that's gonna bother me. Jeff Kent, not Jeff Kent. He's the only one I'm fine with. Actually, no, there's two here that I'm okay with.
Mhm.
Jeff Kent next year, 2027. Buster Posey, Dusty Baker, and Bruce Bochy are all, I think, eligible to get in. God,
And
it's
they
gonna
all
be
deserve it, man.
so, and they all deserve it too. So they're all
Yeah.
gonna get in. So there's gonna be a ton of Giants fans. Damn it, flooding Cooperstown these next 2 summers. But then I reminded myself, it's okay. In 20 years, you're gonna see a blue wave, a blue renaissance in Cooperstown. You're gonna have Shohei, you're gonna have Mookie, Freddie, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Dave Roberts, Andrew Friedman, Brandon Gomes, everybody. Shit. Oscar Hernandez, I'll throw his ass in there too.
Miguel Rojas.
Miguel Rojas, damn right. It's gonna be Will Smith. It's gonna be all kinds of Dodgers. It's gonna be all kinds of Dodgers getting into the Hall of Fame. Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal when
Oh
they're when
god.
they're when they're Dodgers too. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We Dodger fans, our time will come, and we will take over Cooperstown. Just not yet, but our day is coming. Anyways, going on to the other signings here. Um, Devin Williams staying in New York, but he's going to Queens. Um, Immediately, I thought that, hey, maybe the price tag got too big for Edwin Diaz, and maybe now this is his replacement. Clearly, that's not the case. It seems like priority number one is still to bring back Edwin Diaz to the Mets. But in case he goes to the Dodgers or anywhere else, this is a safety net for the Mets. Um, Listen, at the beginning of the season, and even most parts throughout this season, it didn't look like after this season he was going to go anywhere near New York City, because you kind of saw it a little bit. He was kind of struggling. It seemed like the New York market, the New York area was getting to him a little bit, the Yankee fans. But I think once he got out of the closer role and you saw Bednar take over, you saw Devin Williams be a little bit more effective in the seventh and eighth inning. And now he's going to the Mets, and I think he's still going to be used as the setup guy. But I like this move for the Mets. I like this move for the Mets if you're gonna bring back Edwin Diaz. If you're not gonna bring back Edwin Diaz and he's gonna be your closer, I would kind of be scratching my head a little bit. Like, why couldn't you just bring back Diaz if you were, if you were gonna go try and get a closer? But I need to see what else the Mets do here. But for right now, I'm okay with it. I'm glad. I'm just, again, we said this a couple weeks ago. Don't come to my team. Don't go back to Kyle's team. Just go back to the Mets. That's all you have to do. Make it easier for everybody. Just stay away from our teams and go to the Mets. And that's what
Yep.
happened. So I didn't want Devin Williams. I'm not really in love with any of these relievers, to be honest with you. So I'm going to be very picky about this. But for the Mets, I understand it. But they still need to bring back Edwin Diaz, and it sounds like they're going to do. They're still, talking about um, Edwin Diaz. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll keep this short and sweet. I mean, I've been very vocal about Devin Williams. It clearly did not work out with the Yankees. There was no world where these two sides were going to come back. That was kind of apparent halfway through the season, man. I mean, this guy just never had it for the Yankees. Never. I mean, last year, looking at his
Started
stats,
opening day.
yeah. I mean, he pitched on opening day, and from there, it was downhill, man. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. He had by far the worst year of his career. He pitched to a 4.79 ERA, 4-6 record. He had 18 saves over 62 innings. Um, by far allowed the most hits in his career, 45, 30, 33 earned runs, which is almost double his second second um, next highest. Um, he had 25 walks. This guy's FIP was 2.68. His WHIP was over 1,000. I mean, his WAR for the year was negative zero point 0.3. I mean, there was just no world where this team was gonna bring back Devin Williams. It clearly didn't work. It was clearly a 1 year rental. Um, he's not that far removed from what he was in Milwaukee, so we'll see how he is with the Mets. I have to think New York didn't get to him too much because clearly he's just across the borough now. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't have much on him. I'm glad he's not a Yankee anymore. It clearly did not work. And also too, I'm somebody who I have completely flipped a switch on relievers. I don't want any high-end relievers. High-end price tag relievers because they just almost it's never a good financial decision for your team to go out and get one of these relievers who are going to cost you millions of dollars a year. The Yankees have always had success with building a bullpen out of guys that were rarely known and guys who are making 1 million a year, 2 million a year, or around that price tag league minimum for some of
Yeah,
these guys.
sometimes league minimum. League minimum.
That's what I'm saying. So I truly do hope that that's the Yankees' way of going now. And for us too, it's not like we're losing our closer. We still have David Bednar in the back end of that bullpen. We have Duvall from last year's trade deadline. Hopefully Luke Weaver, depending on what goes on there. But the Yankees bullpen is not in a terrible situation. They do need arms, don't get me wrong, but it's not a Devin Williams type contract that you need in the back end of that bullpen. You have David Bednar who's locking it down. From here on out, you go out and you sign some relievers to low contracts, and that's what you go with for the rest of the year. Because again, for the Yankees, I didn't want them to resign him due to a lot of his issues pitching for the Yankees, and number two, the Yankees are going to start out the year with like down three starters, but once they get a fully healthy starting rotation, it's going to be lethal. It's going to be something to look forward to. Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Clark Schmidt will be coming back from injury. You still have Luis Heel. All of these guys can give you 5+ innings. And if you're looking at Garrett Cole, Max Fried, you could get 6, 7 out of those guys. Sometimes Garrett Cole can even surprise you and go the full 9. I mean, the Yankees starting rotation is not going to have to, I hope and pray I'm right on this, is not going to have to rely on that bullpen as much as they did last year. So for me, it didn't make sense to bring back Devin Williams. He gets a nice payday from the Mets, which they've been handing that out left and right. Um, I and also too, I think it's a good pairing for both of these parties. Devin Williams gets a fresh start, and Steve Cohen and the Mets get another arm in that bullpen who's not far removed from being one of the most elite closers in baseball. But I will say I'll end it on this. Mets, what the hell's going on here? Taking all of our guys after all of our 1 year rentals are almost destined to go to the fucking Mets after their time in New York. It's wild, man. Dude, I saw a list the other day. I think it was 40 plus players in the last couple of years that the Mets have signed that were on the Yankees. That came from the Yankees to the Mets. What the hell is this? You just want our sloppy seconds? What's going on here? We're just like Eskimo brothers? The fuck? This is this is crazy.
Oh, I've
Anyway,
heard that. I've
good move
heard
for the
guys.
Mets. Devin Williams gets a payday.
Well, I've heard from guys like Soto that they enjoy Queens more than the Bronx. So,
Hey, that's fine.
okay.
Hey, that's totally fine.
What's the saying that they have out there? It's rent in the Bronx, buy in Queens. Is that the saying that the Mets fans like to throw out there?
I think
Sounds
so.
about
Yeah.
right.
I mean, what I guess whatever helps you sleep at night. Honestly, I guess that's what I have to say to Mets fans. But yeah, no, just to put my closing thoughts. Good deal for both sides. Devin Williams gets a fresh start and a nice payday, and Steve Cohen and the Mets get another not too far removed elite closer in baseball. So it's a good deal for both sides, and we'll see how it goes.
Speaking of sloppy seconds, I'm always open for. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Moving on to the other signing in the other Eastern Division. Cedric Mullins going from. Well, this guy's been all over the place. He was in Baltimore, then he got traded to the Mets, which that didn't work out. That was a disaster. Um,
Yeah.
and then he signed with the Tampa Bay Rays. Damn it, this is a typical Tampa Bay Rays signing. That was
Yep.
immediately what I thought of. I have his stats in front of me. 17 home runs. He bat 216. He had an OPS under 700. Watch now that he's with the um, Tampa Bay Rays, he's gonna have a renaissance year next year, and he's gonna hit like 30 home runs again. He's gonna play elite defense, and he's gonna be exactly what these other teams thought they were gonna get with, or like he's gonna do what the Mets thought they were gonna get with him at the deadline last year. So, um, I like this move for the Rays. It's a 1 year deal, and hey, if the again, this is one of those things where it's like if the Rays are not performing well at the deadline, which I think they will because they always seem to, they can just ship them off for prospects at the deadline or a one of one trade, or they can keep them and the Ray they can find stuff in his mechanics and tweak things that he's been doing, and he's gonna help the Rays have a bounce back here next year. This is a win-win for the Tampa Bay Rays for me. And damn it, they've done it again. And watch, he's gonna have a renaissance here next year.
Dude, when I posted this, I immediately switched from our ATD account to my personal account and I commented, "This is a match made in heaven." I cannot tell you how much I love this move. As a baseball guy, I love this move. I can't explain it enough. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays do this shit all the time, and Cedric Mullins is the perfect guy to form into Tampa Bay. I'm telling you right now. I mean, looking at his stats, 2021 was by far his best year with Baltimore. Batted 291, 360, 518, and yeah, 30 homers. He was an all star. He finished ninth in MVP voting. Ever since then, he's kind of gone downhill a little. But this guy. I hate that he's still in my division because he hits against the Yankees so well. But this might go down as one of my favorite moves of this offseason, man. Truly.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
this I think it's not the star power that Cedric Mullins provides because, like I said, he's not what he once was in Baltimore. But if he's gonna find it, it's gonna be in Tampa Bay. This is the perfect place for Cedric Mullins, and this is a perfect opportunity for the Rays to bat him like fucking third in the lineup, and he's gonna turn into Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. I'm telling you right now, I see this. The writing's all over the wall, man. I mean, this was by far the perfect place for Cedric Mullins to go. I love this move. I can't explain it enough. It's this was an A plus signing for the Rays because it just makes sense for them. It makes all the sense in the world. So yeah, I there's no negatives about this trade. I'm sorry about this signing. I love it. I absolutely love this signing, and yeah, well, we'll see come 2026 that if this is going to pan out the way we think it will. But I'd be willing to bet money on it that it will. Cedric Mullins is definitely going to have a bounce back year and possibly the second best season of his career for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. This is good signing all around for the Rays, and it gives Cedric Mullins a chance to kind of get out of the bright lights in New York a little bit. It doesn't. There's not that much pressure in Tampa to perform. Um, if you do, great. If not, oh well. Like the fans are not gonna come calling for your head like they will with the Mets. So um, yeah, this is a good signing, and you kind of I can see it like when we're looking back on the offseason. You mentioned it, this is probably going to be one of your favorite signings of the offseason. I could see it next year to where he has another good bounce back year, but we shall see. Going on to some other free agency news, Kyle Schwarber, could he be going to um, the other team in Pennsylvania? Apparently, um, the Pirates have offered a 4-year contract to Kyle Schwarber. Hey, that's something. That would get me excited if I was a Pirates fan. Now, of course, the Phillies can probably top that and probably double what the contract was. But um, I think this is good. Good for the Pirates, to kind of, dare I say, flex their muscles a little bit. It's not full on, like the Dodgers muscles, but it's like, hey, like and I would think a 4-year deal is a legit offer for
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber, a guy in his 30s. It's not like a 1-year high AAV type of deal. I would love to know what the number is, but
Hmm.
um, I think this is a big swing for the Pirates. Um, I hope they can get him. Because I don't want to see him go back in Philly just because I think the Phillies can get in the way of the Dodgers title run again next year. But um, good for the Pirates. Good for the Pirates. And honestly, it seems like the Phillies are still the favorite just because they can offer him the most money. But he might go make a home. He might make a homecoming to Cincinnati because that's where he's from. Or he can go to the other team in PA and go to the Pirates. So I like it. Good for the Pirates for kind of flexing their muscles a little bit and making a legit offer to Kyle Schwarber, not just kind of BS him or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on board with this, man. I hope and pray that he goes to the Pirates. I truly do. I want Kyle Schwarber in a Pirates uniform for the sake of this game. All right. One of the big things, and we're going to talk about it on the next topic with the Dodgers. Dave Roberts kind of touched on this a little bit, and I'm on board with Dave Roberts on this. A big issue in today's game is these low market teams are just not spending money. They're not. And it's caused an issue with the CBA and what is likely going to happen next year. Um, there is as much as you want Paul Skeens on the Dodgers, as much as I want Paul Skeens on the Yankees, there should be no talk of Paul Skeens ever being traded.
Yep.
And the same goes for Detroit with Tarek Skubal. There should be absolutely no talk. There shouldn't be, you know, for example, KC did it with Bobby Wood Jr. They locked him up for 14 years. That's what I want to see more of, right? Because for the longest time it was, oh well, Bobby Wood Jr. is going to be on the Dodgers in a few years. Oh, Paul Skeens is going to be on the Dodgers or the Yankees in a few years. As much as I would love that, I don't want to see that happen for the sake of this game. I'm telling you, man. Like to me, I just want the homegrown players being able to get locked down by their team for years on end, man. I mean, with competitive contracts. Um, I don't want these teams not like capping out on spending and then turning around and then fan bases bitching on the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, the Yankees for spending all the money when your team's not even going to try to be competitive. So for the fact that the Pirates offered a contract of 4 years, probably over 100 million, I can guess, to Kyle Schwarber, who's an aging superstar, that's got to mean something, man. And I love to see it. And I hope Kyle Schwarber accepts it. I truly do. Build a team around Paul Skeens and make sure he stays a Pirate for life. I'm telling you, man, like the fact that this is like a lot of people are probably like, oh well, it's just the Pirates. They're just offering a 4-year deal, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. To me, it is though. To me, it's a huge deal because this has been the one driving issue in this sport for years. These teams just refuse to spend. So props to the Pirates. I absolutely love to see them offering big contracts. I want to see it. Fuck, do you know how happy I would be if fucking Kyle Tucker signed with the Rays on a 10-year contract or signed with the Pirates? Like, dude, or the Marlins. These teams need to start spending money. And for the fact that the Pirates are offering out a long term deal with a substantial amount attached to it, dude, that's so good for the sport and so good for these teams going into the CBA next year and the players as well. So I like to see this. I think it's a huge thing that we need to bring to light. But yeah, I hope Kyle Schwarber ends up in Pittsburgh. I do, for the sake of this. I think that's such a cool thing to see. These smaller market teams coming out of nowhere, signing the big free agents, taking them away from teams like Boston, Toronto, Philly, New York, both New Yorks, Los Angeles. I want to see that more. And for the fact that we hopefully are seeing it, I think that means something. So props to the Pirates for offering him a contract, and we'll see where it goes. But this at least means that the Pirates are willing to spend some kind of money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is very good, and we'll see. If like I said, that 4 year deal is not nothing. Like that's a legit offer. Of
It
course,
is.
wait for the money, but it could put pressure on the Phillies too. Like, oh shit, like we gotta kind
Mhm.
of pony up a little bit more too. Otherwise, we're gonna lose them.
Yeah.
But that's what you want to see. Getting to the last topic here, let's touch on the defending world champs here a little bit. The Dodgers, um, kind of back in the headlines a little bit. Teoscar Hernandez being rumored in trade talks. You know, I'm put out a video of it today. I'm not big on it. I don't understand why the Dodgers are considering it. I mean, I know why the Dodgers would consider it. Um, because of the bad defense and right. He's not getting any younger. My rebuttal to that would have been, well, why did you bring him back last year then? If you
Mhm.
were just gonna try and shop him a year later, then why did you bring him back then? Now, I think the fan base would have not been happy if you would have just let him walk because he was clearly, he took the city by storm and quickly became one of the fan favorites in this Dodger fan base. But um, to me, the solution is to put him back in left field. He had a good year in 24. He wasn't as bad as he was this year because last year it wasn't always perfect in left field, or 2 years ago now, but because his bat was so good and he made the simple plays in left field. So he was able to, and also another part of it too of why Teoscar wasn't that great in right field. He was dealing with a bad ankle basically all season. He was not healthy. So, um, I hope the Dodgers don't trade him. Like, you got to understand something. Like, Teoscar Hernandez has had, in the 2 years that he's been here with the Dodgers, he's delivered some big postseason hits. And he's been a huge part of why this team has been able to go back to back. And the Dodgers have a good core right now. This Dodger team is clearly built for the postseason. I understand that they're not getting any younger. Look at Shohei. He's like he's 30 now. He's not getting any younger. I know Mookie, Freddie, Teoscar, Muncy, Kike. These guys are all. Rojas is retiring next year. Um, I understand these guys are not getting any younger, and there's going to be some big decisions that are going to have to be made in the next probably 1 or 2 years here. Don't don't split the band up, man. Like don't split it up while it's going good. Run it back with this core again next year. And if they don't win it next year, and if Teoscar continues to slip, if the only thing that keeps me from trading Teoscar, now part of it is because I'm thinking more with my heart and not my head, but um, he delivers in the postseason. I can deal with the lazy, kind of half-ass defense a little bit here and there, But if he's gonna continue to hit, that's all I'm asking for. And if he's gonna hit in the postseason, that's all I'm asking for. It's not always pretty, Sometimes he'll swing at a ball 10 feet out of the zone, but when he connects, when Teoscar's on, he's on. So I hope the Dodgers don't trade him. Again, don't mess with the core. Don't mess up the thing that got you here in the first place. And unless the Dodgers can get somebody significantly back better, don't trade him. And everybody knows how I feel about Bellinger. I don't want him back with the Dodgers. I saw how it ended the first time around, and I know he had a good year with the Yankees this year, and he had a couple good years with the Cubs. I'm telling you, man, he's a streaky hitter. And I know he's a good defender in center field, and he can play left or right if you need him to. But God, I'm sorry, but I'm taking the offensive bat over the. I can deal with the underperforming. I can deal with the average, below average defense with Teoscar if he's gonna swing, if he's gonna hit. Now, if his defense doesn't improve that much next year and his bat starts to decline a little bit, then I think we can have the discussion about it. But not right now. Not right now. Let Teoscar come back healthy. Let's see how it is next year. And if it starts to decline, I'm open to trading him. But not right now. Not when the vibes are good, man. Leave everything alone. Obviously, make a couple changes here and there, but honestly, it's a good feeling that the Dodgers, unless they go get like a Tucker or something, they're not gonna make any drastic like. There's no, and I just saw Dave Roberts. I just heard his press conference right now, and we'll get on him in a second here too. The Dodgers don't have to make the big splash this offseason. Like it feels like if they go into next year with the exact same team they have now, still gonna be pretty good. They can make a. I want them to make a couple changes to their bullpen, but I hope they come back with the same team. And this is the first offseason in a while where the Dodgers don't have to go big game hunting. I don't think they have to do that. Just make a couple twinks here, maybe get like another bench bat or something and improve the bullpen a little bit, but I like this Dodger team where they're at going into 2026, and I don't think you should mess with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say this. I do think the Dodgers are in a really good spot right now, um, regarding Teoscar Hernandez. Because listen, if you trade him, you're gonna get some pieces back. Teoscar Hernandez is a like he might go under the radar with the Dodgers, but if he's on another team, such as I'm thinking Boston, right? If he gets sent to like a team like Boston, he's gonna be one of the main contributors. With the Dodgers, he doesn't have to be. He's
Right.
one of those guys that flies under the radar. He's probably the fifth or sixth bat that you kind of think of when you look at the Dodgers. He'd be going to like the second or third in, or even first in a lineup like Boston. Um, so I do think he has some trade value. He does. Um, Now, on the other side, if you don't trade him, you know exactly what you're getting out of him. He is a guy you can pencil in for over 20 home runs a year. It's guaranteed. He's going to hit 20 plus home runs a year. And that means something. Yeah, the average might not be there. He's going to bat between probably on the low end, I'd say 235, on the high end, 260. He's going to bat somewhere in there. He's not going to give you a bunch of, he's not going to compile a fuck ton of hits. He's not like a true contact hitter, but he's a guy who has a nice balance between the two. And he is 30, I want to say he's 33. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, he's going into his age 33 season. He's projected to he's projected to hit 254, 307, 448, 23 home runs, 78 RBIs. If I was the Dodgers, I'd be pretty happy with that. As a guy who's your fourth, fifth, sixth option in your lineup, hey, I'd be happy with that. I don't see a world where you break up the band quite yet. You're coming off back-to-back World Series. There's no reason to break this shit up unless there's an offer you can't really refuse from
Right.
Teoscar Hernandez. But again, unless you get a guy like Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger, what are you going to get out of left field? I mean, come on. Yeah, you can bring back Cody Bellinger, but like you said, you don't know how that's going to go. And listen, he's still streaky. He's still a streaky hitter. He was last year with the Yankees, too. Don't get me wrong. He was amazing with the Yankees, and I want him back. But I don't know if the Dodgers and a Cody Bellinger reunion, I think that ship has sailed. Maybe if it was like, if he wanted to come back home for one final season in his career, sure, go back to the Dodgers then. But Cody Bellinger's technically still in his prime a little bit. This is a guy who he might be towards the tail end, but it's a guy who can still perform at a high level. And unless you get like a guy like Cody Bellinger, because I don't know if the Dodgers are going to swing big for Kyle Tucker. So Cody Bellinger to me seems more realistic. It's either Cody Bellinger or Teoscar Hernandez, in my opinion. Because I don't know if there's anybody else on the trade market who is going to give you the same production that Teoscar Hernandez will. And if there is, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny. So why even bother? Keep the guy who you know will give you 20 plus home runs and be a extremely good 5-6 in your lineup. Why break that up? To me, that just doesn't make sense. So for me, like, yeah, Dodgers need to keep him. However, I wouldn't be shocked if they move on from him. I really wouldn't. But we'll see where it goes. But yeah, no, that's kind of my 2 cents. I don't see a point in trading him. I really don't.
Me either. Like I said, like you mentioned, unless they're gonna get somebody significantly better, um, that I don't think they should trade him. So I would like the Dodgers to bring in Harrison Bader, not to
Harrison Bader
start
or
every
Teoscar
day.
Hernandez?
I want
Wi-
I want Teoscar Hernandez.
That's where,
Now,
yeah.
now again, Harrison Bader's if he's gonna sign here, he's not coming in here to just be a guy off the bench. I
Mhm.
understand that, but that's the ideal fit for me. Harrison Bader, keep Teoscar in the lineup, and um, late in games, when it's tight, just bring Harrison Bader out there and let him finish. I know that's not in a perfect world that would happen, but that's not going to happen. But just one quick thing with the Dodgers here. How about Dave Roberts? They asked him. I didn't even. I think he was doing. I don't know what he was on, but somehow I think it was Keenan Thompson who asked him. I'm like, what the hell kind of shit is this?
Mhm.
He asked him, "Are you in favor of a salary cap and a salary floor?" Like, I don't like it. I can't even get it out right. Um, he said yes, but there has to be a floor.
Mhm.
What are you doing? That's not the status quo here. Read the damn card that they gave you. No, we don't want a salary cap. We don't want a floor. Keep it the way it is. But um, I'm not surprised Dave Roberts said that. I mean, listen, like I said, we're going to have this discussion a million times as we head up towards next offseason. I'm fine with the cap. Just make sure there's a floor. And it seems like that's what Dave Roberts was in favor of. But I'm glad they asked him that because, the Dodgers have been doing all the big spending and all the deferrals and everything. We kind of don't know their position on it. Like we really don't. Like we've heard from these other teams that are crying poor, Yankees, how they feel about everything, but we haven't really heard how the Dodgers feel about it. And this was kind of the first crack of how they feel about it. Like, hey, we're good with a salary cap because the Dodgers are going to keep spending the same, but make sure there's a floor for these other teams that don't spend to start spending. So I'm okay with it, but damn it, that's not status quo, Dave. Let's go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That it definitely did shock me a little bit. Especially given that he is the, you know, by far the team who spends the most money in baseball. He's the manager for, and he's saying things like that. Now, I do agree with him. If they are putting, like, if we don't have a choice, right? You and I are not in favor of a salary cap, but if we don't have a choice and we have to have one, there needs to be a salary floor, in my opinion. So I do agree with him on that. Um, I that's the part where it made sense to me. But yeah, no, it'll definitely be it was definitely interesting because when I heard it, I was like, geez, Dave, like that's
This is AI.
Yeah, that's real, that's real funny coming from you. But but yeah, no, I thought it was very interesting, and yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more on this too. I think the more that we the more that we go on throughout the season, we know that it's looming. We're gonna hear managers speak out on it. Um we're
Players
gonna hear
start speaking out on it too.
absolutely. Yeah. So no, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, but yeah, no, it was definitely a little bit shocking to me to hear to hear Dave Roberts say that. Now, real quick, I don't want to get off topic here, but some news regarding the Don Mattingly, who
Yeah,
we
I
were just
just saw that.
talking about. He's close to joining the Phillies as a bench coach. So, congrats to him. It's well deserved. I'm and it's hilarious because it was that quick of a turnaround. Um, that that he's joining somebody new. So, congrats to him. Unfortunately, my Yankees did not step in, but yeah, props to
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Props to him. Also, too, Dave Roberts is giving his press conference right now at the winter meetings. They're asking him about Mookie and Shohei and everything. Shohei, they asked him about Shohei playing in WBC. He says he hasn't talked to him, but he prefers if he just hits and doesn't pitch. First of all, let me say something about that. Now I know that's Dave Roberts saying it, but that's really from Brandon Gomes and Andrew Friedman. Um, I think the Dodgers should be allowed. Now I know most of them are going to go, but to me they should have the freedom to do what they want. They just won
Mhm.
back-to-back titles. I know they've played a lot of
Yeah.
baseball in the last couple of years. I understand that, but these guys, you had to know when signing these guys that hey, they're going to want to play for their countries at their full capabilities.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but I'm on the player side with this one. I'm
Yeah.
now. Am I going to be nervous? Hell yeah, I am, because they just announced Sasaki's going to pitch too, or he's going to represent Japan. I'm going to be extremely nervous when Freddie's playing for Canada if he plays for Canada. I'm sure Rojas is going to want to play for Venezuela. You've got Shohei, Sasaki already playing for Japan. We'll see about Yamamoto. He's the one I would be like, God, I would prefer Yamamoto doesn't, but I get if he does. The Dodgers should be allowed, the players should be allowed to go if they want to. I'm sorry, they've given this organization a lot of things in the last 2 years. They should be allowed to play for their country. And for Shohei specifically, if the front office doesn't want him to pitch at the WBC, all Shohei has to do is walk into their office and say, "Remember how much money I deferred my contract for?
Or
Thank you."
brought into this franchise as
Absolutely.
much money as he's made them.
Absolutely. All he has to do is say how much money I've made you guys over the last 2 years and how much money I deferred for you
Mm.
guys to bring in more talent. Thank you. I'll be pitching and hitting in the WBC next year. Have a
Yeah,
nice day. That's all he has to say. So that
yeah,
ends that. But I know Shohei's a nice guy. He's not gonna be a dick about it, but I'm sure if he wants to pitch, I'm sorry, Shohei's pitching next year
yeah.
in the
No,
WBC.
absolutely.
He's pitching. So I'm sure
And
it's
this
not.
is
I'm sure it's gonna be tough. The Dodgers are gonna have to kind of hold their nose a little bit and kind of pray. I'm gonna be shit. I'm gonna be praying every time. You know, I'm gonna have to watch these Japan games now because half of the damn team is on it now. So I'm gonna have to be up here in my room at like 1 in the morning watching these games.
absolutely, yeah. No, but yeah, no. This is one of the things that, like, I mean, Otani came over from Japan. He's very vocal about his home country, and
Yep.
rightfully so. I mean, if this man, who is regarded as the greatest baseball player potentially ever by the time his tenure is done and his career is over, if he wants to play for his home country in the World Baseball Classic, let the man play. I mean, this guy has brought in millions upon millions of dollars, not only for the Dodgers, but for Major League Baseball. If this man wants to pitch and put on a Japan uniform for his home country, let him pitch and hit. let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He has earned that right to do so. So I'm also with Otani and the rest of the World Baseball Classic players. It doesn't. It's not even just Japan. Like you said, Freddie Freeman playing for Canada, the
Canada.
DR, the Puerto Rico and Brazil's in this year. Things like that. So if you want to play for your home country, just let them. Like, I mean, these guys have said multiple times that this tournament sometimes means more to them than the World Series.
Yep.
And I think that should be taken into account. I mean, it's very clear these guys play with heart out there on the regular baseball diamond. Imagine what it's like putting on your home country's uniform. That means something to these guys. So just let him. It's Otani, man. Let him do whatever the hell he wants.
Damn right. Let him do whatever he wants. No.
Absolutely.
If Shohei came up to me and say, "Hey, could you drink this bottle of piss?" I do it. I do it because Shohei told me
Understand.
to do that. Yeah, I do it. That's as far as it goes. I'm not going out further than that. So, not doing the other thing. That's disgusting. But unless you got anything else, Kyle, I think it's time to get out of here.
I think so, man. I think
This
that's
really
it.
starts going off the rails here.
Usually, yeah.
Let me
No,
let
I
me
think
put.
that's it, man.
I'll do the PG one. If Shohei told me to jump off a bridge, I do it. Or jump off a cliff, I do it.
Yes, that is PG on the ATD baseball
That's
podcast.
PG. Yes. So.
Oh man,
All
understandable.
right.
I get it.
Yep.
I
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank
think
you for
so, man.
listening. Um. Yeah. We'll see you next week. Adios.